Joe Boyd.
Here.
Kevin Kelly.
Here.
Aaron Kinder.
Here.
Bill Morris.
Here.
Lynn Norris.
Here.
Okay, and I don't think anybody's coming just by Zoom yet. Pat Graff got double booked, he's gonna try and join us as soon as he's done with his other meeting, so he may be joining us in process.
On the agenda, we have the consent agenda first, which is the minutes from our last meeting and the treasurer's report, which include payment of bills. Anybody who have any questions on anything on the consent agenda? Now we'll look for a motion to approve. Make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I'll second.
Any final questions? Allison, roll call.
Joe Boyd.
Yes.
Kevin Kelly.
Yes.
Aaron Kinder.
Yeah.
Bill Morris.
Yeah.
Lynn Norris.
Yes.
Okay, approved. We made a slight change to the sequence of our agenda. We're gonna start conducting the citizens hearing at the beginning of our meeting instead of after all of our reports. So that when we have citizens that, want to come, they don't have to listen to everything, like the board or anything like that. But did anybody sign the sheet tonight, Danny? Okay. We have no citizens. Next on the agenda is the report of the meeting. First, I would like to thank the Holly Jolly Christmas Committee. The lights were fantastic in the park, and I want to also thank our residents all around town. A lot of people put a lot of effort into decorating again, and it's really enjoyable to see all the decorations again. So I think the park display grew a lot this year. I think it was real well done, and I thank the people that are responsible for it. Next on our agenda is our sewer study status. Greg, I did not talk to Greg today. I thought he would be here. Maybe he got stormed out. I haven't heard from him, so we'll skip that for now and maybe bring that up later. I did meet with a representative from Straight Up Solar Company and showed her everything we had for the police building and for the water building. And she sent some preliminary reports on what our usage is and what our bills are and what our payback would be if we converted solar, costs and everything. And we started looking at the report, and some of the details weren't quite right. She dug into our building and found out that we have two different rates. We pay a different rate this summer than we do in the winter. And she also found where our rate increase was last summer, which wasn't showing up in the initial evaluation that she did. So the report's not quite final yet. So she hopes to have them ready for us by the February meeting. So we have done some work on it, but we're not ready to present it. As soon as I get a report from her, I'll forward it to the board for review before our next meeting. Next on the agenda is status Hudson report. I am going to try something here to just kind of recap some of the things we've accomplished and some of the things that are coming up in our next year or two. I want to point out this accomplishments are by the board, our trustees, our staff, our committees, and our volunteers. Some of these span 2 years, but these are, to me, a lot of the highlights, and if I miss anything, I apologize, but I hope no one feels slighted. So I think we hired some excellent part-time employees for Public Works and for some of our other projects. We've hired a new police chief and an officer. We've reduced water loss, and we've implemented our program to monitor for water loss. Started a reserve fund for replacing water meters, and we've started replacing the water meters. We've developed a volunteer process and forms to accept volunteer help. We've increased the police patrol times in the areas with complaints. We purchased a back truck with COVID-19 relief funds, and we've used it quite a bit. We purchased a new police vehicle. The planning committee has completed a 10-year plan for the village. We've completed numerous road repairs and improvements. We've completed several drainage projects, completed sidewalk projects. Now have a completed dog park. We completed documentation for the McLean County disaster preparedness efforts. We've improved the appearance for the garage room in Unit 5 for the water building and fire hydrants. We have a new roof on the police building, and I'm sure there are other things that would be added here to the major accomplishments. And now here's what's coming in 2023 in our future. We have the sewer study, which will include public meetings and a go, no-go decision. We will be expanding the village storage and other projects with the DCO grant money. We will be upgrading the water infrastructure in our water building. Evaluating solar power. We'll decide what to do with the ARPA distribution to the village for this year. Decide on whether or not we want a second full-time employee for streets and water. Decide on increased police protection and patrolling. We need to look again at our IT support options. We need to set direction for using the TIF funds once the sewer direction is set. And then we need to develop a plan for upgrading the older, smaller water mains in town. I think that's gonna keep it pretty busy for next year or two. So, and if there are major things I missed, again, I'm not trying to slide anybody, but, we got a lot done in the last couple of years, and I think we got a lot to do, so. That's kind of a recap of what we got going on. Also pass out a draft copy of the calendar to all the trustees and some of the staff. This is what I want to set up, things that we could easily miss and not get done. And again, this is a draft copy, so please look it over and let's make some improvements to it. Make it usable, and if we decide it's not worth having, we'll pitch it, but until then, like, we're going to take a look at it. And, for instance, the last thing on here is the garbage contract. I don't know, I think it expires in 26. And so, I'm gonna put it on here in the middle of 25 when I start a review for it. Things like that, far off in the distance, could easily be moved, so. Anyway, please take a look, let me know what you think, and we'll add things until we can make this usable. All right, next on the agenda is a report from Water Property, Streets, Zoning, Danny.
$2.7 million for the month, $87,000 a day. Sarah looked back and made this nice sheet for us, which I think is good to give us a little bit of idea of where we've come and our efforts to cut down the loss that I think you guys all got a copy of. So we're less than half and maybe a third of what we were a few years ago. So that it looks like it reflects pretty well in our bottom line too. So glad we're heading in a good direction with that. Sarah and I also started working on another water spreadsheet that's gonna talk about one of the things that Dave said about the water mains and our aging water infrastructure, and that is in its very infancy, and hopefully by the time we get to budget time in March or something, we'll have a little better something there. Dave mentioned the dog park is all but basically done. A couple more things I think Aaron and I'd like to do with maybe some tables or benching or something in there for next season's budget. But Sarah had ordered a sign that's kind of a legal coverall, right, for the do's and don'ts and rules of the dog park that's still in progress. And then since Kathy's not here, I discussed it with her and Phil, as well as with, Patrick Meyer today, right-of-way ordinance. And, that needs some more, further discussion amongst, Raph and, Patrick Meyer and me, Phil, and Kathy, so, I don't know that we have too much more to discuss. Phil, if you want to add anything, but it's, we kind of have some more work to do with that. I think that's Kathy's intent anyway, was from my conversation with her, was just to bring that up to, we're still working on that, and it needs a little more help, so. Thankfully, wasn't in the snowplow too much, and, for all you folks that wish for a white Christmas, I hope you got what you want. So, thanks.
Anyone have any questions for Danny? No, thank you, Danny. Next up is our village marshal, Police Chief Cotty.
All right, so I passed out a copy of some of the statistics of what we accomplished in the month of December. You can see those, and if there's any questions on those, I gave a copy to the media also. Just feel free to ask questions about it. Some of the other noteworthy things, I met with our IPMG risk management team, and I discussed with them training opportunities that they provide, grant opportunities, and best practices. They're a big help, and they will be a big help to us as we transition into this chaotic process of the Police Safety Act that keeps getting changed and amended and everything else. But they're constantly, in contact with with the legislators in Springfield and the people that deal with that. So I'll lean heavily on them. Now, also, they do provide grant opportunities. Now, we have the possibility of, well, let me back up 1 second. I think I already mentioned that as part of the Safety Act, and this will probably stay in place. They're not going to amend this, but we will have to have body cams and squad car cameras, well, body cams by 2025. So as you look at it, January 1, 2025 happens when we need to have body cams. That's not in and of itself the biggest issue. The biggest issue is the squad car cameras also are old, and we need to buy a system that integrates. So the body cams and the squad car cameras integrate and can communicate and automatic downloads to the cloud and everything else. Long story short, this will be a budget item that Kevin and I will discuss. We'll either have to put this in this year's budget or the next fiscal year's budget at the very latest. However, I reached out to several different grant opportunities, and I think that our system could cost, and I'm just throwing this out, could be $20,000 to $25,000 is what it's going to cost. However, I can write a grant, hopefully through the IPMG that will pay dollar for dollar, so that'll drop it down to about half that price. And then I have another couple of opportunities where I may pick up $3,000 or $4,000 of other grants that I can write, so we can drop that cost down. But it'll be a decision that we need to make soon. I would rather see it sooner than later, just because I know the costs are just going to keep going up. And I want to get these grants before they run out of money. But anyway, that'll be a decision later on. But it was great meeting with them. They have a lot of opportunities. And plus, they also told me that there's training opportunities, public works, and things like that too. They do.
The cameras would also be a yearly cost if you said cloud.
Yes, there will be, because
$2,000 or something.
probably a couple thousand. Yes, to maintain that, because it'll automatically download to the cloud. And then you can, provide those copies that you need for the state's attorney and for any FOIA requests. Again, I attended our training meeting, local training meeting of the Fort County area, the Rural Chiefs meeting, attended training on our new NIBRS crime reporting system that went into effect January 1. I've been using it before January 1 just because I felt I wanted to get going on it. We worked out some bugs, I think, with the help of some trainers. I think, especially the road chiefs, I think we got a handle on how we're going to do this. What used to be a very simple system is not so simple now, because it's run by the federal government, not the state government now. So the requirements are somewhat different. Training on the Police Safety Act, you'll see that probably almost every month, because things are changing constantly with amendments that they're writing on that. We assisted Ameren with the down power line at Broadway and Franklin. That was caused by a, shall we say, well, it's a fried squirrel now. Squirrel chewed through the line and the line went down. So, lastly, I did put some information on about walking on the police Facebook page. And many times when I do that, the Hudson Happenings will copy and paste that, which is great because then it gets to their audience too. And the main thing that I want to say about this is that I've noticed it, and other people have talked to me about it, is that we really want to stress that if you're out walking and it's dark, you really need to have reflective clothing and some sort of, like, whether it's a flashlight, whether it's a little blinking lights you put on your chest or on your hand or something, because you really can't be seen. And also that I try to educate people that if there's a sidewalk, you're supposed to be on the sidewalk. By state law. If you can't, if there is no sidewalk, then you're supposed to be over as far to the right as you can of the road. Preferably walking with oncoming traffic. Yes?
As far as which side?
The opposite side. So that you're off to the side. So like if I'm walking, I want to walk far over to the shoulder with the traffic facing me,
Right.
so that they can see me better and I can see them.
On the left side.
Yes. I'm sorry, did I say right side? Sorry. Yeah, you want to have the traffic facing you. But we haven't had any real issues, fortunately, but I always just want to remind people that it is hard to see people at night when it's dark, especially if you're not wearing light colored clothing or something reflective.
We kind of have one hills kind of too, where I see people like that really close to them.
Yes, yes. So, and that's it, unless there's any questions.
Was there anything other than cameras that will incur a cost for the safety act with regards to cameras?
That's gonna be the big cost, Joe. There'll be some training issues, but I don't see that as being a huge cost. I think our training budget will be able to support that, because a lot of it's gonna be online training. And so we can just, log in while we're working here and get the training. The big one will be the body cams in that system.
Will we need some kind of software system for managing all of the videos?
Right, that will come with, as Joe said, we're gonna have to have someone to manage that as part of that contract. And so generally speaking, when you go out to a vendor, and there's 3 or 4 big vendors that do this across the country, and we'll get quotes and everything, but part of their quote is also the maintenance of it. So we have to look at the total package of that, because we just can't, we don't have the capacity to manage it ourselves. The beauty of it is that it'll be integrated. As you pull into the station, everything gets downloaded to the cloud automatically. Right now, we're keeping little video cards, and you have to log those cards in, because it's an old, it's an old system. Yeah.
Tree of USB.
Yeah, it is, these are little cards, and, because it's, I think 12 years is old as the system. And then if we have a request right now, we have to go in, find that video card, download it, and then go in and provide that video. It'll be a much more seamless process.
What about as far as FOIA requests? Are we gonna have to look at having staff trained to do FOIA requests as far as body cams inside houses?
Yeah, there'll have to be some training with that, on what we can provide, what we don't provide. One of the good things with going with the vendor is that they will take care of when we have a FOIA request, anything that is extraneous off to the side, that other people, like license plates and things like that, all have to be blurred out. And you probably see it on TV when you see a body cam. Things are kind of blurry sometimes. Well, that's on purpose. They will take care of that, but I think that when we have FOIA requests for any video, I think that should probably be reviewed by our attorney before we give that out, just to make sure, because it's gonna be complicated now, what we can give, what we can't give. We don't want to have any missteps, violating somebody's rights by showing something we shouldn't have.
Well, I'm gonna bring it up because that's what my wife did for the town hall.
Oh, she did?
It was body cam, and she said it was a very extenuating process, where everything has to be looked at. That's why I was saying we will consider that in the budget if we need to look
Good
at
point, yeah.
some good training to make sure that we're staying
Mhm.
within what we
Yeah,
need
I didn't know she did. She was probably busy.
Yeah, very good.
Anything else?
All right, thank you, Mark. Does anyone have any questions? Okay. Thank you for putting together the report.
Oh, you're welcome.
We get the note on the website too,
The,
pedestrian note.
oh, yeah.
Yes.
I'll get it out there.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Next up is civil defense, Jeff Thomas, and then we've got that fire meeting, anyone aware whether or not that's going on? Okay.
I heard it here, but I just happened to be looking through the Hudson Happenings before I came here, and there, was a couple of people that commented on maybe there seemed to be conflicting stories on it. One down there, Prairie went off or didn't go off, so. I'm not really sure that what I was reading exactly, so
Well, I don't know if the one in Prairie View went off for sure, but I kind of suspect that it might not have, just simply because when I was out driving, I wasn't in Prairie View when it went off at 10 o'clock. I was near like the park area, okay, Waller Park, and I could clearly hear the one here for sure, because this is super loud. But I couldn't tell if I could hear the one over there in Prairie View. I mean, we kind of almost have to rely on citizens. There's just not, you can only be in one place and listen to it. I did hear from people though that in my neighborhood up on North End that the fire one did go off up at the fire department. So, but the Prairie View, we might want to check and see whether it's. Yeah, it's down there. Well, Prairie View's further down from you, but it's on Whitetail, isn't it? It's on Whitetail.
yeah.
Yeah, because that's your closest one, is this one, and it's the loudest of them all.
Mark, will you just email Jeff Thomas and say, questions on whether or not the one went off?
Okay.
So, whether today what it is, it's important that we have all the sirens working. So, see, we'll check that out.
Okay.
All right, next on the agenda, reports of standing committees, finance, budget, contracts, and employees, Lynn?
Yes, I have a couple things, I didn't know. If you're setting a budgeting committee, no. Okay, so we had talked about doing 2 budget meetings in March and looking at the calendar, we said maybe Tuesdays and Thursdays to make it easy. Our regular meetings would be on the 7th, choose to do the 14th, skip a week, and then some each. So on the 14th, we discussed everybody's budgets that they submitted, if they changed anything, we got 2 weeks. And then like maybe on the 28th, see where we're at, and we have to meet in April, and stuff. Does that work for everybody?
I think the 28th is spring break for you guys. Is the
Oh,
one to think about maybe.
okay.
I don't know for sure yet if I'll be, actually, no, I will be home, so spring break doesn't affect me, never mind, sorry. Nope. Unfortunately.
So the first meeting would be on the 14th,
Yep, the 14th,
and the second one would
and
be
the 28th.
28th. All those days, look for trustees. Sarah, are you available?
Yeah, I should be, yeah, let me just double check.
And the same time, like meetings at 7 or pretty much,
Oh, March.
yeah.
That works for me.
Yeah.
28, 7 o'clock,
Yep.
it's meet in the police conference room. Those meetings, or budget meetings, or work sessions, obviously they're open to the public, anybody can attend. If there are any input from the, or questions from the public, it has to be pertaining to the budget, because that's the only thing we'll have on the agenda. So, all right.
And then Sarah gave everybody the budget packets, so we have all January, we're gonna send those back to Sarah in February. Then she'll, put all the info in and hand out to everybody, so then everybody's prepared for budget meetings, questions, comments, concerns. And then the last thing was working on, the cafeteria plan that we were talking about last time. So I talked to our insurance agent yesterday and got the information on the FSA that would be available to us. I will get kind of all the important information together for everybody, about it, I just haven't had a chance yet, but the main thing, my main concern of whether or not we can kind of move forward with this is if it is an employee paid only one, so if we were gonna do it for the employees, we would have to raise their salary for it in order to be able to do it. But because it's been FSA, like taxes are not taking out that money, so we would not be responsible for the taxes on that. So I just wanna know if this is an option for us, if that's okay, and then I'll move forward with getting rid of information and talking to employees and all that.
Would that salary, would that be subject to like an IMRF? I mean, it won't be taxes, but would it be like subject to an IMRF?
I will double check,
Okay.
but I'm assuming yes.
Okay.
So yeah, that was,
I'm not ready to talk through this, but I'm just thinking of, is there a question going out, talking out loud?
yeah,
Question of fairness. Because what happens is that person that would like that would get a boost on their IMR pension if compared to the other ones that don't take that.
right.
Okay. I don't know the answer to that, but it's good enough.
Okay. Yeah, so that's a concern. So what I'll probably do is put all the information together and then we can look it over. And I think it would be something, if we wanted to do it to start in the new fiscal year for budgeting, I think it would be easiest. So I feel like we have time to do it, so I'll get information together and get it out to everybody and then it might be easier to make that decision.
This is something we can discuss in the budget meetings and not have like a line item that we're going to discuss it. It's a budget thing,
We would
isn't it?
need to include it as a separate topic
Okay.
on our agenda, and we can discuss it there, we just have to make sure it gets on the agenda as a non-budget type discussion.
I'll try to get information before budget meetings though, to everybody. That's all I have.
Okay, thanks, Lynn. Next up, we have street fill.
Really don't have anything this evening. Danny covered the row ordinance. Since Kathy wasn't here, we just need more time on to review that ordinance and put a few things together on. Other than that, thanks to Danny and his crew for good work on our first snowball. So hopefully we don't have any of those this winter. So that's all I have.
All right, thanks, Phil. Obviously Kathy isn't here tonight, but she also had review and finalize the resident plan on the agenda. Richard, would you like to talk about it at all?
Yeah, so I sent it out, I got some feedback from Joe, and so we'll review that feedback. It's good feedback that Joe gave me, I appreciate that, Joe. Those were a couple of things that, you know, once you look at it enough, it looks like an elephant, but it's not really, so Joe's helped us with a couple of things that we were overlooking. So we'll get those things updated, and provided there's no other concerns with it, we'll push that back to you guys, and you can review it again. But the only feedback I got was a couple of things from Joe that we'll update in there. Nothing really changing, just clarification and taking some misinformation out. Other than that, we should have something for you in a week or so. Just want to run by these guys and get their approval. But other than that, I think we're really good to go.
Okay. Well, three of you are here, and I want to thank you again for all the work you did developing the plan. I mean, that's what I like here, but please pass that on to the other members too, so thank you. Okay, anybody have any questions on the plan or comments for Richard? All right, next we have police department, Kevin.
I don't have anything other than what Mark has, distributed to us for the December, 22 report. Just want to thank him for putting this together, putting it on Facebook, on the website. And, I don't have anything else.
All right, and we have questions for Kevin? Not, water department, Joe?
I don't know.
Okay. Next is public property, Aaron.
I just wanted to say thanks to Danny and his crew for getting the dog park finished up. We've got, like you said, we're gonna try to budget a few more things for next year, get some benches, but it sounds like today it's already actively getting used. So I appreciate that. That's all I got.
All right, next on our agenda is liquor commissioner, and I don't have a report, but I would like to get two trustees to volunteer to be on the liquor commission. There are some ordinances that we need to review and update pertaining to the liquor commission processing, licensing and everything. So do we have any trustees that will volunteer to help me on that?
I don't volunteer. How often will we meet? Is it like an annual or semi-annual or when needed or?
When needed, but we'll probably meet a few times to review the ordinances and see what we want to change. And then, after that, it would just be when needed.
Yeah.
So we got Kevin, do we have another trustee, Joe?
Yeah.
Great. That'd be awesome. All right, I'll fill you guys in on things I want to look at and take a look at, so. That's all I have on the liquor commissioner report. Our next item is to move into closed session. The purpose will be for our 6-month review of closed session minutes. Do we have a motion to move into closed session? We have a motion. Do we have a second? Second. Roll call, Ellison?
Joe Boyd,
Yes.
Kevin Kelly,
Yes.
Aaron Kinder,
Yes.
Bill Morris,
Yes.
Lynn Norris.
Yes.
All right, we are adjourning to the closed session. We will ask the audience to vacate this room. You're welcome to use our police conference